Hi everybody, Jo here again. How are you doing? How's your week going? Okay, I hope. Thanks for joining me. It's always lovely to spend time with you. Today, I'm just popping in because a couple of you have asked. I used a stamp the other week, the holly stamp, and it's not the little miniature, the pound version, it's a larger one. And I said about it being used for batch card making, for making a wreath, and a couple of you contacted me and asked me if I'd do a quick YouTube on it. So here I am, and I've got a couple of versions for you. So I'm going to be showing you this one first, where we're just going to literally stamp our wreath. As I say, perfect for batch card making. And I've left the wreath just like this. Obviously you can add a sentiment, you can create a scene in the middle. I just want to show you the starting point, and then you can take it, you can add more stamps into this if you want, you can add more foliage, you can extend it and make a fuller wreath, change the colours. As I say, I'm just coming in with the basic. And then next I want to show you, if you're not competent, if you're worried about actually stamping it, a little trick of how to make it a lot easier for you. Again, I've left it so that you can add, I think Pippin and the moon in here. Well, yeah, so many things you could do, but that bit's up to you. I'm leaving you with that. I'm thinking one of the charms, how about a charm there? Well, as I say, maybe I'll pop back and do a full version of it, but this is just to show you that basic, to sort of whet your appetite and get you going. Now, when I cut these pieces of card from my A4 piece, I have some little pieces left, and so I cut myself some ATC size, so that's 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches, and I have to say I had a play, and the little pound holly makes a beautiful wreath look. So instead of throwing that away, that little piece of card, look at that, I can make myself a gorgeous, all that needs is a sentiment now, add that. You could even add some gems if you wanted. Doesn't need much else, does it? You could spend an afternoon just creating these. If you sort of left it a bit late for your Christmas cards, what a lovely way to start creating. So what we'll do is we'll get on and I'll show you. I'll put that to one side, and we'll concentrate on these. So as always, I've started with a piece of card 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. So this is going on my 6 by 6 card blank. And so we've got the holly stamp here. Just clean my block. And I'm going to be using the Shady Lady, Shady Lane. She'll always be Shady Lady in my head. Ink pad, and for this one we're going to do first and second generation. And what I'm going to do first is decide I just sort of line the stamp up in my head. Right, I'm happy with that. Believe you me, when you do this you'll know what I mean. So I'm going to add some ink. Now I just want to check that I've got you perfectly in shot, because I'm liable to wander off. You know what I'm like. And what we'll do is we're going to do our first generation stamping here. And I'm leaving maybe say 1 centimetre from the edge, and I'm trying to get it midline. Again, turn it round. Now, a lot of you will have seen me do this before, and if you have, all I can do is apologise. But we do have new viewers all the time, so it's always nice to go back to these things. And sometimes you forget yourself. It's nice to be reminded of a technique. And I'll do the same again. So I'll go for midline, about 1 centimetre. And what I will do now is come back and just fill my gap here with my second generation. And when I do that, I'm mindful to keep the shape. And this is the bit where, if you're not careful, you can go wrong. Depending where you stamp this, you could almost make this a square sort of frame. So you just have to be mindful in your eye to keep that sort of circular shape. So we'll turn round. And I find it much easier to turn the card as I'm going. And again, I just keep catching. So again, I'm going to go for midline, about 1 centimetre down. And it's not easy for me to see because it's white on white. Turn it round, and again, I want to be mindful of that shape. and do my second generation. And you can see how lovely. I mean, if you wanted to leave it as that shape, you could. So many possibilities with this. But it's the sort of thing for me, once I get in a routine, I could literally just keep these coming all afternoon. So again, I want about centimetre and then fill in that gap. And then I need a second generation there. So if I was batch card making this, what I would do is would have my next piece of card ready and stamp my first generation on my next one, and then come back and do second generation on this. And that way I would batch make a lot. But there we go. How quick and easy was that? Now that in itself, I think looks lovely. You've got so many possibilities. We could ink round the edge, colour these in. Now again, you could colour them in with gel pen, you could paint them in. What we'll do for this one is, let's just come in with this little berry stamp. And this is off, I think it's off the Berry Wreath set. And just to save a little bit of time, I'm going to just stamp this little berry over, just to give you a different idea of what you can do. So we're actually stamping the berry over the berries that are on. Just to save me, I'm thinking if I haven't got, I mean, obviously, you know, if you have got time, it's lovely to just colour these berries in and just spend time. We'll just move this round as we go. As I say, I'm just showing you some alternatives and some starting points of where to go. Now we have got our little, now you could leave it like that, but just, again, give you a variation. How about adding a little bit of holly in each corner? And I do think for me, when I'm batch card making, I like to vary the designs a bit. Right, which lid goes on which ink pad? Do have to watch that. Let's come back in with this now and just add a couple of berries either side. Right, put my lid on. And then what I would do is just with my white gel pen, and again what I would do, let me move that out of the way because it's going to distract me. It's fun if you turn it round and see, oh, I like it that way. And so I would just come in with my gel pen and on my berries add that little white fleck, and on a couple of my holly, just because for me it just gives it that, makes it look that bit better. Just that touch of a highlight. Now again, as I say, you could add gems, depending on whether you're putting it in the post. A couple more there. It really is up to you how much time once you've got that basic. And then to finish off, let's give it some Posca splats for snow. We don't want a blizzard, do we? We just want a few. This is where I normally get them on the camera, get them on my glasses. There we go, that's enough. And I'll just wipe that up otherwise. So that's one design for you, and honestly that just did not take long at all, did it? But if you don't fancy just stamping it out, and I know some crafters don't, what we can do is, let me just check this is dry, get our 5x5, and I've got my acetate, the circle mask here, and I've got the outer bit. We normally use the inner bit, don't we? So, and I'm just going to get I've got a lovely stencil brush and I've got this colour Bermuda. And again, I'm just going to dab some off on I could use low tack tape on this, but I'm just going to hold it. And even though I've dabbed some off, I want to come on here and I'm just gently going to flick. Really gently flicking and then just actually going round and round, just nice and gently. I don't want to come all to the middle. Now, just give me a little bit of depth. I'm going to dab and just in this bottom corner. And again, it's not a lot, but I know it's there. And you'd be surprised how just having this bottom corner, something I do a lot. Those of you that follow me will know I do this a lot. I always have my lighter area here and this is my darker. So when I take that off, look, I've just started and I've almost got a little bit of perspective and a little bit of depth in that corner. And then you've got that lovely shape ready for your stamping. So I'll come in again with my, and if you look, the actual holly almost follows that shape, look. So if we come in again and we do our first and second generation, but we're actually going to follow that line. So if you're worried about not having anywhere, do it this way and you've got a line to follow. So again, first generation and the second I can see exactly where I need to stamp it. So we'll come round here and again I'll go first generation, second. Now I could just leave it like that if I wanted, put myself a message here, maybe your scene or the nativity look lovely there. As I say, and I think the beauty of it is if you're almost no idea what you're going to do. I know a lady asked the other day for ideas for Christmas cards. You could almost just, oh, better just get rid of that bit of ink. You could just, if you started doing this, I'm sure that just by stamping, once you've started, it sort of gets your juices going, your creative juices, and you'll suddenly think, oh, I know what I want to do. And you'll get all sorts of ideas. So stamp that off. So I've got my second generation there. And again, if I put it this way, let's move this out of the way. You can see that that little bit of shade there really helps. Now, I've got one of these lovely Signo red gel pens. And again, you can just go around, sorry, excuse me, and just colour in. Now, like I say, you could add gems to these. I'm just very quickly going to do this. Now, there is the glaze pen. I've got that here. That's very good as well. And if you notice, I'm almost leaving a little white space because I'm going to add my white highlight as well. And I just find by leaving a little bit of white space, it almost gives me that highlight ready. But at home, I would take longer, obviously, and make it a lot neater. But I love this pen because it's almost got a little bit of glitter with it. So again, just adding that white. And I've left this without a sentiment, so you can decide. But what I would do is just, I've got a little bit of ink left there. I'm just going to add a tiny bit more. So instead of adding the white gel flicks on this, I'm just going to use the same ink that I had for the background and just add some specks. There we go. Now, if you wanted, you could come in, add some ink around the edge. As I say, a scene in the middle. There are just so many possibilities. I just want to give you the idea of how to get started with these gorgeous, quick, easy, simple wreath cards. But honestly, this lovely holly stamp for me is a definite must-have. So I'm hoping you enjoyed that, and I'm hoping you have a go and maybe add other stamps. Stamp that scene in the middle. There are so many possibilities here. Honestly, I can't wait to think I might make a larger one, maybe a 7x7, and add some more beautiful stamping in there. Like I say, so many possibilities. Maybe we could do that one together sometime. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. You take care as always. Much love and hugs from me. Bye for now.